A late model chassis change has one driver humming. Teams make their final series selections. David Gravel possibly headed for historic territory. The championship battle that could end up being the best in the country, and a lot more from the weekend today. Let's go. It's Sunday, March 23rd. I'm Justin Fiedler. This is DIRTRACKR Daily presented by Kubota Genuine Parts. If you'd like to watch the daily show ad-free, you can now do that over at patreon.com/DIRTRACKR. That's a perk of one of the premium membership options available over there. On the DIRTRACKR Patreon, I'll be posting all of the daily shows, both normal and ad-free, plus other bonus content. So check that out if you are so inclined. There's a free tier if you want to sign up that way, but premium members do get access to other added benefits. We're pretty close to 50 members there already, so patreon.com/DIRTRACKR. I think the past two nights of racing for the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series could have been an interesting preview of what we are in for the rest of the season. I know you'll look at the box scores and see Ricky Thornton Jr. leading all 50 at Atomic and Devin Moran leading all 50 at Brownstown and think we had snoozers. But I think Lucas could be the most intriguing championship battle we're going to get this year among the four national tours between late models and wing sprint cars. Jonathan Davenport entered the weekend as the leader, but one bad moment at Atomic running second where he tangled with the lapper of Tyler Wyatt means we leave the weekend with new guys out front. Moran and RTJ winning, plus podium finishes in the other races, now see them tied atop the standings. JD's now third, 55 points back. In those top three, they've separated themselves from Brandon Overton in fourth, and then Overton has a decent gap to Dalton Wilson in fifth. I think this RTJ, Moran, Davenport trio could give us a very fun slugfest all season. I posted on Facebook last week that I think Moran isn't getting enough credit for his current form, and he just keeps pumping in these good finishes. And I do have an RTJ hot take, which I'm going to get to later this week. I'm going to save it for today's show, but I will talk about that later this week. Some interesting things with him as well. But at a moment where we've got dominant drivers leading High Limit and the Outlaws on the sprint car side, plus Bobby Pierce on the late model side, I would not sleep on this Lucas series. A couple of other things to point out. First, the time off hasn't seemed to help the Rocket House car at all. They broke an engine in their heat on Friday and had to start 26th. They did hard charge up to 11th. But then last night at Brownstown, they had to use a provisional to start the main event. Brandon Sheppard with just one Lucas top 5 and 5 top 10s in 11 races so far. They're ninth in the standings and 160 points out of the chase at the moment. Also, I said on a recent Daily Show that there were rumors of chassis changes possibly coming, and a big one this weekend was Mike Marlar. He showed up to the Lucas shows not with a Longhorn, but with an Infinity out of the Wells shop. He was one of the cars testing last week at Rockcastle Speedway, and the swap seemed to pay off. 2 fourth-place runs, and maybe the best he's looked in a while. His Skyline teammate in Tyler Bruning was still in a Longhorn, however. Remember, we've been talking about Eric Wells getting back in a car, and according to a Kevin Kovac piece at Dirt on Dirt, Wells will be piloting an R&D type car for Wells and the Infinity brand at select events. Ryan Gustin going well, maybe Mike Marlar on the rise here. Infinity definitely with some things going on. Lucas quiet now for the next month. Their next race is April 25th at Georgetown. Down in Georgia, the two World of Outlaws Late Model Series nights at Swainsboro went to Bobby Pierce and Ryan Gustin. Those two, along with Nick Hoffman, they're your kind of clear top three in the series. Gustin and Hoffman leave the weekend tied for second behind Pierce. Gustin and Pierce now with 2 wins each, while Hoffman is still looking for his first. I think, though, Pierce still very much the favorite here on the Outlaw side. I think there are concerns for Gustin and Hoffman, at least when it comes to keeping pace with the 32. We know that when things are going well, Gustin can stack up wins. That guy can win anywhere. But can that team stay consistent? Already 2 finishes outside the top 15 this season. We've seen them have reliability issues at times. And the concern for Hoffman, kind of the opposite. He and the Ty Tuareg team are consistent. They have the most top 10 finishes with the Outlaws this season. But can they finish top 5 enough and get some more wins to really keep the pressure on? It's going to be the big question for them as we move forward. On the full-timers front, we know Tim McCready, Drake Troutman decided Outlaws. Kyle Bronson also in attendance this weekend on this side. And with Jimmy Owens racing at Swainsboro, he's actually maintained his Outlaw status as well. Still 21 drivers at the moment listed as Outlaw full-timers. The Outlaws quiet this upcoming week as well. They return to racing April 4th and 5th at Atomic. The Dirt Late Model focus this upcoming weekend will be back on the regional series. Mars has the Nippy 50 at Maquoketa. Hunt the Front goes to Wynot, plus there's Spring Nationals and Northern All-Stars action. Other weekend late model winners included Joseph Joyner in Southern All-Stars action Friday at Southern Raceway. Ryan Crane won the Saturday show there, and Rick Eckert was a weekly winner at Port Royal. Down at Cotton Bowl Speedway, weekend sweep for David Gravel suddenly has folks wondering if he could get to 20 World of Outlaws sprint car wins this year. He's already got 5 in just 12 races. The last time we had a driver go over 20 wins in a season was Donnie Schatz way back in 2018. And with how competitive this series has become, it felt like it probably wouldn't happen ever again. The closest we've gotten since was Brad Sweet with 16 wins in 2021 and David Gravel with 15 last year. But this type of dominance that we're seeing from Gravel kind of harkens back to those Schatz days of him winning 20, 25, 30 races in a season and walking away easily with these championships. If he's somehow able to keep up this pace, Gravel wouldn't be flirting with 20. He would be flirting with 30 wins, figuring a 70-ish race season. His lead over Carson Macedo and Logan Schuchart has grown past 80 points. But if you're looking for some positives, there is some hope. Things have stabilized for guys like Buddy Kofoid and Sheldon Haudenschild after tough starts. They both have been much better lately. I think those two, along with Macedo, Schuchart, those are really the main guys to take the fight to Gravel right now. The question, I think, especially for Kofoid, will be if he can overcome that tough start at Volusia. The guy we've seen the last 3 races who went win second, is who I think a lot of people thought we were going to get all season. But Kofoid is 114 back, Sheldon 164. Donnie Schatz did pick up his first top 5 of the season on Friday, but then DNF last night after an axle broke, causing him to crash. And I'm starting to wonder what the plan is for Emerson Axsom. These guys have attempted every outlaw race so far. I don't know why that they wouldn't have declared before DIRTRACKR Nationals as full-time with the series so they could get the benefits like tow money. If you're going to go run all the races, get the money. Even if they fall off later, they've left that money on the table. We're talking several $1,000s at this point. I certainly just don't understand that. And hat tip to Sam Hafertepe, 2 podiums in his last 3 races. He hadn't finished top 5 in an Outlaw show since 2022, and now he's been up front at both Cannondale and Cotton Bowl. The Outlaws stay around the Midwest this week with stops at Lawton and 81 Speedway coming up. Out in California, we're now up to 4 different winners in 4 high-limit races. Friday at Kern County, it was all Brad Sweet. I think the story of the night, though, was his boss and teammate, Kasey Kahne. Fast all program long, came home second in the main event. It was his best finish ever on a sprint car national tour and his best run since a NOSA win at Huset's in 2023. I guess maybe he doesn't need a crew chief like Eric Prutzman. And then he backed it up last night with another top 10 finish. The win for Sweet was the first with Ty Wolfgang on the wrenches. Including a 3rd place last night at Paris, Sweet has yet to finish off the podium this season. And then last night's win went to Aaron Reutzel on a rubber-down track. Things went bad with the surface pretty early. Reutzel managed his right rear tire well all the way to the win. His 2nd career high-limit win, and even with the broken nose and the early points hole, I still think he's going to be a problem for these guys. A number of drivers did lose tires late in that one, including Tanner Holmes, who was running 2nd with 5 laps to go. If Holmes is able to hold on there, it would have been 3 straight top 5s with high limit and his best ever finish. He and Drew Warner looking really strong through this early part of the season. But it's been an absolutely miserable start for the high-limit rookies. Dazen Persley crashed out on the first lap at Tulare and Kern County and crashed out on lap 2 last night. And Cy Lynch, he's had similar luck. He's yet to even finish in the teens in one of these races. Spencer Bayston start with Myers also not going to plan. Something broke at Kern County on that car. He had an ugly crash on Friday down the backstretch. Good to see him climb out of that one okay. But he's gone 18th, 22nd, 21st, and 17th to start this high-limit season. Headed next to Central Arizona, Brad Sweet leads Tyler Courtney by 45 with Brent Marks, Rico Abreu, Dominic Scelzi, the rest of the high-limit top 5. Another weekend open wheel action. It was a Keith Kunz Motorsports Sweep and Power Eye Midget Turnpike Challenge racing. Ken McIntosh, Gavin Miller, Jacob Denny all picking up wins. Anthony Macri actually went home. He won the season opener at Port Royal. Davey Franek and Derek Hagar split USCS wins, and AS Sooner region scores went to Blake Hahn and Whit Gastineau. Saturday Short Track Super Series win at Bridgeport Speedway went to Stuart Friesen. That's the show for today. Hope you guys have a great Sunday out there. We will see you right back here tomorrow.